You think you have a story, but it's not enough. So tell us, what can people do starting today if they have a story in mind and are thinking of self-publishing?
Well, I think self-publishing is the greatest opportunity that has ever hit the publishing industry. It started in earnest in about 2001 when Amazon came on the scene, because before that, you had to work with a traditional publisher in order to get your book in bookstores, and there was no other way to do it. So Amazon changed all that. All of a sudden, anyone who wanted to could get their book in front of the public and sell books and distribute whatever their message was, whether it was a memoir or nonfiction book or a novel, whatever it was. They had this wonderful amount of freedom to do so. But in the meantime, in the last 20 years, there's been a lot of misinformation and confusion generated. And so that's what I like to talk about.
Awesome. Great. All right. Let's talk about that. What's the biggest myth that people have about self-publishing?
Well, there's a lot of myths actually, but if I can start with the fact that there are three ways to publish a book. The first is traditional publishing, which we're all familiar with. In that model, the author pays nothing.
Correct.
The publisher pays all the expenses to produce the book, and then takes most of the revenue from sales when the book is sold in order to recoup its investment. That's perfectly fair business model. Under that model, the author typically makes about $1 per book.
Right.
So when self-publishing first became available, it was understood that the author was the publisher, and the author would pay the expenses to produce the book, and the author would earn 100% of the net revenue from sales when a book was sold. And
Right.
that was great. And that meant the authors could earn, instead of a $1 royalty, they could earn $6 to $8 in return for their investment in the services. That's when the trouble started. In the la- it wasn't too long after self-publishing came on the scene that some people's ears must have perked up and they said to themselves, "Oh, you mean the author is willing to pay the expenses to publish the book?
Yeah.
We want in on that." So we started seeing self-publishing companies. Later on, self-publishing companies rebranded themselves into hybrid publishing companies,
Yeah.
and then the do-it-yourself message also started to take hold. So all of those three things have created a lot of confusion, a lot of stress, unnecessary stress, I think, for authors in terms of trying to self-publish their book. Many authors don't know that you do not need to use a publisher to self-publish your book. And that is my
Correct.
core message.